It's 1999.
Hello there, viewer, listener, however you take us. Some people like to listen to this show, Ben, without visuals.
Well, I can't blame them
think,
for that one.
Exactly, I can't think why, especially the left-hand side of the screen. It might be okay if we just, shut off the left-hand side of the screen. But
we are like if Halloween comes every week.
You can have us as a podcast. Now,
you can.
We are
on Spotify, people. Find us. Like us. Is that a thing on Spotify? Follow us or whatever?
You can follow us on Spotify if you
follow
look
us
up.
on Spotify. Then you won't have to watch us.
It's exactly the same stuff, but on Spotify. Now, it's 1999 in this particular show because we are discussing again this final year of the 1990s, to which we have been listening to the albums. And Ben's done more of it this week than me. So what have you had on?
I've listened to 3. 1, 2, 3. And the first one up was Moby's Play. So I listened to that. First time I've ever listened to that album all the way through. And I was surprised by how many tracks I knew from it. It's quite a soulful album, I think, at its core. It's actually got quite a sort of bluesy gospel sort of feel to it, in a weird way. Bear in mind, it's that electronicness to it, but it was good. I did like the introspective feel of it, and the sort of it was quite. Bear in mind, it's a Moby album, and you're kind of thinking, oh, electronic, it's going to be all like wow, 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 wow. It was actually quite. What's the word I'm looking for? Introspective.
Am I right to think he sampled a few sort of gospel type singers or people singing on that? Have I got that right? Remind me some of the songs on
You've
that.
got Porcelain. Why? Well, yeah, because why does my heart feel so bad? That one. That's got quite a sort of I think Alan Lomax, is that a person?
Yeah.
So I think it samples a little bit of that on there, and I actually quite enjoyed it because you know me, Phil. So I do like a little bit of lounge music, and I do like that little bit of melancholy and stuff. And I can see why it was as big as it was. Interesting fact about that album I read was that every track on that album was licensed to be used in a TV commercial. So there you go. Moby setting out straight away.
Every single one. So he did play. Did he do an album called Pause or Stop?
Or Rewind?
Did he do a hits collection called Rewind, or did he do a Fast Forward? I don't know.
Eject.
I must admit, I haven't really followed anything else really that he's done. I remember that being a huge album at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other ones he's made since.
No, the only song of Moby's that really sort of sticks in I forgot about that. Why does my heart feel so bad? I didn't realise. I forgot that was a Moby song. That's a really good track. But the track that I really enjoy Moby is obviously from the Born Identity soundtrack, is the Extreme Ways.
Okay.
So that's it, but that's not on this album. I don't know what album that's off of, but obviously not this one. But it's weird to be listening to some of those tracks and thinking this was 1999 because it feels sort of out of place. Then again, you had Dido coming through. We'd already had like Faith, that's more cheap. So trip hop, that sort of, Fatboy Slim was out this year as well, wasn't it? Was that 98? Fatboy Slim.
I don't know.
I think that was 98. But anyway, it was. Yeah, it kind of feels out of time, but completely in time at the same time, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad listen. I have to say, I've listened to worse, and I've listened to better.
I could imagine you driving around in 1999 with that on in your car. Did you do that?
No.
You didn't do that?
1999, New Radicals was big in my car. Let Forever Be, Chemical Brothers and Noel Gallagher was a big track around 99. Ricky Martin, Living La Vida Loca. That was big
Really?
in
Okay.
1999. Backstreet Boys, massive in 1999. I was listening to pounding that out.
Another guilty pleasures show may have to be recorded.
Yeah, can I just say,
Yeah.
the first time I heard Living La Vida Loco, I thought, what a great pop track. Then it became annoying, and then sort of mid-2000s, I found a little bit of love again for it, and now I've not heard it for probably 10. Well, I probably have heard it, but it doesn't sink in my consciousness anymore.
Talking of a bit annoying, can you hear yapping dogs?
I can hear yapping dogs, yeah.
Right. Sorry about this.
He's going to go killing people. Get onto the RSPCA. Phil is a dog mass murderer. Oh, hello, Phil.
Yeah. Shot them both. Yeah.
Somebody, isn't it at the end of isn't it Cooler Shaker track where it goes, somebody shoot the dog?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't recall that one.
I'm sure that's at an end of a Cooler Shaker song. So I have introduced myself to Moby. First time I've listened to a Moby album. The next up on my list, I actually listened to this morning while I was cleaning my car. It was, I did read that it was a defining pop punk album of the late 90s, if you can have a guess. It helped define the pop punk genre. Made it more mainstream, catchy hooks.
This came out in 1999.
Yeah, an energetic sound.
I don't know. Was it Avril Lavigne? Oh, that's a bit early for her.
No, influenced many.
Was it Blink-182?
It was Blink-182, which I really, do you know what? I actually really enjoyed the album. It was a lot of fun. The one thing my head kept being unable to circle to complete was the fact that I know all the members of 182 are older than me. I'm pretty sure they're in their early 50s now, but especially very late 40s. So if this came out in 99, I was 20 in 99, so they would have been mid-20s. And I know there's a slight parody element to it, but they're almost some of the sort of themes of the song. There's a bit of teenage angst in there, and the sort of teenage view on relationships, which my head kept going, yeah, but these guys are in their mid-20s. It couldn't round that circle. But then it's got great tracks like all the small things truth brings. She left me roses by the stairs. That one. And then What's My Age Again? That was a great track.
I've never listened to this band. I must admit that I always found the pop punk thing just a bit annoying, and I never listened to any of that stuff.
Yeah, these
I don't know what it is. I just, when they do this, that American punky pop.
Yeah, I struggle with this genre.
They play everything fast. Fast, and it's kind of like, you know, the Ramones. Every song sounds kind of the same.
Yeah,
but I can sort of get the Ramones because I can sort of
like
get
the opening to a U2 song.
Yeah, well, I get the appeal of the Ramones.
Yeah,
and I don't find it too irritating. I don't listen to it hugely, but a small dose of it I don't mind. But I just find that sort of stuff. I just find it a bit annoying. It doesn't rock to me. It's a type of rock music that I just don't like, and I normally like.
I was never a big fan of.
I like rock and roll, but I just don't really dig this sort of thing.
See, Blink-182, the singles, I've got to say, I did enjoy the album. First time I've listened to it. I do enjoy their singles. I love Miss You. That's a great track of theirs. But things like Sum 41,
I should listen more.
Avril Lavigne, all these, even sort of like the emo stuff of My Bloody Valentine and all that sort of.
Wasn't My Bloody Valentine more shoegaze, and that's going back to
not My Bloody Valentine. What are they called? My Chemical Romance.
Oh, you're thinking of My Chemical Romance.
Yeah,
that was that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, and all that I never quite got. I kind of
Yeah, well,
like the odd single, but it never really.
The big
But
sorry, that's it. That's the one that exemplifies it. That song by My Chemical Romance about the Black Parade.
Yeah.
So it starts off kind of slow, doesn't it? And it's built up like a bit like a ballad about the black. I can't remember what the lyrics are, but it's kind of quite good as a
Black
sort of
Parade.
that bit's okay, and then it goes into this punky bit.
Yeah,
and that bit is the sort of thing that I just find it's never really grabbed me, that kind of music. I don't know why.
No, it's never really done it. I can appreciate the odd single here and there. The one thing I will say about Blink-182 is they did do it with a bit of humour.
Right.
They did have a good sense of humour, sort of. And
maybe I should. Are they the ones who did that album where there's a girl on the front who's dressed like a nurse and she's putting on a glove?
That's this album. Yeah,
That's this
she's
album.
A porn star, an adult entertainment actress.
Okay.
I think she's in the video for What's My Age Again, I think. So,
right, okay.
But I've got to say, it's not my genre, but I did actually enjoy the album. It was fun.
I think I should give them a chance, because it's not right for me to just say I don't like that kind of music and not listen to it, is it? I should be listening to it properly to be able to say I really don't like it.
Well, yeah, because I am going to get you into listening to more stuff you don't like. That's why I've bought you 1,000. Now, that's what I call 1,001 greatest reggae hits for Christmas.
Great.
Yeah. Thought you'd enjoy that.
I wouldn't mind if it was original, real old school reggae from Jamaica, that's real.
No, it's Pato Banton.
Oh, he says.
Shaggy. And Shakademas and Pliers.
No UB40.
And I don't know if any of them fall properly into the reggae genre, but they're the first things I could think of from now 1994. But last in my trio of 1999, I've just realised how bad my fingernails are. Look at them; they need a trim. Another clue. I'll try to think. Latin fusion with rock, so Latin rhythms with a bit of rock thrown in.
From 99.
From 99, yeah.
Is this an album by a band with lots of guests?
It is an album with lots of guests.
So this is Santana.
Santana and Supernatural. So it's got obviously Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20, Eric Clapton's on there, Lauryn Hill, Wycliffe Jean. There's quite a few people on there. And I listened to this after I listened to the Blink-182 album. And I haven't listened to this album all the way through, probably since 1999. And I really enjoyed it. I forgot what a good album it is. And I can see why it won 9 Grammys, including Album of the Year.
It was a big seller as well, wasn't it? I think it was.
It was a big seller, yeah.
No, I've never listened to the whole thing.
It was actually really good. It's got some really good tracks. Obviously, everybody knows "Smooth" with Rob Thomas, but it's got a song with Lauryn Hill on. The titles, in fact, I can tell you the titles because it's in my recently played. But you've got that Maria.
Don't remember that one.
Do you like The Way? That's got Lauryn Hill. Maria. That's got The Product and GB. Wishing It Was. That's got Eagle Eye Cherry on it.
Did any of the other songs on that album get anything like the radio play of that Smooth?
The only one I think that got close was Maria. I think that was the follow-up single.
I don't
remember
that. And I can't instantly remember that. If I hear it, maybe I'll recognise it. But
let's have a look. I'm sure that was the follow-up single to it. Supernatural, Carlos Santana. Here we go. It's the 18th studio album by rock band Santana. And the singles were Smooth. Oh, Put Your Lights On. Maria was the third single. They actually released 6 singles from that album. The first one was released, which was Smooth, released June the 15th, 1999. The last single got released, and there's no date, and I don't think it got released in this country, but the last single got released in 2001. So, yeah. But I think that was only released in Spain. So the album obviously had a wide-ranging sort of, because it mixed up a lot of genres, so it had a wide-ranging appeal for a lot of people. And I'd forgotten what a good album it is. And Lauryn Hill's really good on the track that she does. She's very Lauryn Hill on it. So I've got to say, Philster, if you've not listened to it for a little while, go have a listen. So I think I've listened to 3 genre sort of defining albums really of that year in a week, because Santana, that was a genre, that kind of brought that Latin rock thing back into the fore. Blink-182 sort of kickstarted the pop punk, and Moby annoyed Eminem. So, yeah, that's my 1999 for this week, Philster. There's still loads to catch up on. I am going to listen to Dido's No Angel album, because I remember that was massive at the time. And I think that deserves another listen. I know it got, what was it? You said it used to get, was it elevator music?
Well, I think I remember at the time, I don't have anything against it. I thought it was perfectly okay pop music. But I remember one critic, when Dido, I think it was possibly when she did her second album after the really big one, they described her music as music to microwave lasagna to.
That was it, yeah. See, I quite like her because she's kind of brings the sort of, it's like trip hop pop in a way, because obviously she's got a bit of a background, hasn't she? I think in a bit of trip hop. She had something to do with Faithless.
Was she anything to do with the Bristol scene?
I'm not sure. Well, she's got a rather long name, hasn't she?
So she had been involved with some kind of grassroots music, or something that was a little bit of a scene, something a little bit cool. She wasn't a totally manufactured artist. No.
Yeah. Her full name, Dido Florian Cloud de Bonnevial O'Malley Armstrong. And what was my reply to you on that one? That sounds like a woman who will not settle for anything less than 3-ply. She is not wiping with 2-ply, is she? If she goes into anywhere and they've only got 2-ply, she is not unloading, as they say.
Oh my God!
She, if they haven't got swan's necks and 3-ply, if quadruple ply is a thing, Dido is only going to be using that.
You're saying that you're saying that she's posh, basically.
You don't have 8 names or whatever it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names, unless you're a little bit posh.
Unless your dad names you after his favourite football squad.
Oh yeah, there is that. Yeah. So, but no, it came out. That came out 99, and there's some really good tracks. Like "Here with Me" is a good track. "Thank You" is a good track. "Hunter's" a really good track. And then obviously, Stan, Eminem picked up. He sampled one of the tracks, didn't he, for the Stan song from I think it's "Thank You."
I believe "Thank You" is the song that Dido is sampled on Eminem.
Yeah, and I don't mind that album. It's classed here as electro pop, down tempo, trip hop, folktronica, which I think that sums it up quite well, to be fair.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I think calling it music to microwave lasagna too, that's really making fun of it because it was hugely popular and sold a lot of copies. It's not really it's not a very, very good critique, really. It's just
But looking at this, she did do collaborations with Faithless. Well, her brother Rollo Armstrong is.
I seem to remember now that she had a brother called. Now you say that,
brother with a weird. He was in Faithless, so they've obviously got that sort of background and sort of connection and stuff.
So her brother was called Rollo.
Rollo, yeah.
Has
And
anyone
sadly,
been
we
called?
lost Maxi Jazz from Faithless, didn't we, a couple of years ago? So
I was trying to try another pun on you then and say,
go on, hit me.
has anyone else in music been called Rollo, or was he the last Rollo?
Oh, is that advert still going? Is that still a thing?
I don't know whether the last Rollo. Can you still get Rollos for style? I don't know. Can you still?
I don't know. I used to like a Rolo, whatever they were.
For anyone who's watching outside of Britain who doesn't know what these things are, these were chocolate sweets that were sold in England. Well, they were quite well known in the UK, weren't they? Back in particularly in the 70s and 80s. They were just like a little. Well, you bought you bought a packet of them. There was paper on the outside, foil on the inside. You opened the packet, and each one was a little chocolate, kind of like a cylinder, but it tapered at one end, didn't it? And only a small little thing.
They are still going.
Chocolate with gooey toffee in the middle.
Toffee, yeah. And if anybody from Nestle's is watching, send us a box.
Oh, it's them, is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And the whole advertising was around whether you would give someone your last Rolo.
Yeah. I used to, Phil. I used to give somebody my last Rolo. And you know who that someone was? Me. I bought them. I'm eating them. So I'm having it. But yeah, I'm quite happy with Dido. I'm
good. I hope you both stay together forever.
Yes, and me. So yeah, that's where I'm at with 1999. Obviously, you're knee deep in 1999 with all the listening you've been doing, Phil, still haven't you? Now I'm going to sit back and you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the internet world and the Spotify, because we're now on Spotify. Now I'm going to sit back and then you can tell us all about what you've been listening to of 1999. Are you ready? Go, Phil.
Well, I haven't quite got round to it this week. I did intend to listen to the Flaming Lips, the Soft Bulletin again.
What? Yeah.
Well, I haven't done it. And then these albums you've mentioned, I wouldn't mind actually those, but I didn't put them on. I listened to something else. So what you're saying,
Philster, is
I did listen to something from '98. I did listen to something from '98.
Well, that's last month, Philster.
I know.
We're almost at the end of October. We have got to come up with our 3 for 1998 by next weekend, and then we start the thingy. And you have not completed your homework.
I know, it's bad, isn't it? I'm really sorry.
You've come dressed to this podcast like the local lollipop man, and you've not done your homework.
I couldn't get over the road. I'll cross over later today, and I will put some 1999 stuff on.
Well, to be fair, you have come dressed to this podcast as Moby, so I suppose we can let you off. If you haven't listened to it, at least come looking like him.
My tribute to 99, exactly.
Yeah. So Phil's let us down, people. I do apologise. At least I'm here putting in the hard graft and the hard miles, so you don't have to.
Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of 1999. I think that's going to be the last one, isn't it? Before we finally...
We're on to the big stuff next. It's the countdown. We've got... Oh, tell you what we need to do, if they're listening. We need to get Shoegaze Sam back on, because he needs to throw a couple of albums into the mix, because we need a certain number of albums, don't we, to have a proper knockout. We haven't worked out the number we need, and then we're going to have to get Chris Harper from the Big Sugars to...
well, we picked 3 each. We picked 3 each from every year, and we've all picked different. We both picked different ones, so that gives us 10 times 3 times 6 is 60. So we've got 60 albums.
Well done, Phil. Maths.
So we would need to do a knockout. The easiest way is to add 4 albums to that, and then you've got 64 albums.
Yeah, so they're allowed to add 2 each, unless any of our listeners adds an album in. This show at the bottom. If you're watching, if you got this far,
we'll have to do a draw
at the bottom.
We'll have to do a draw. We'll have to ask viewers and listeners to nominate what they really think is an album that we've missed off our list, and then perhaps we should just draw them out of a hat.
We can do that.
That's not the most scientific way to pick the best album of the 90s, but how else are we going to do it?
Well, then again, Phil, what's science? People still believe the Earth is flat, so, you know.
Yeah.
Got a big forehead, didn't I?
Well, viewers, thanks for that. We will be back with our favourite albums of 1999 in a future episode. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and listening. Bye for now.